Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's a lovely sunny day outside. I've been for a little walk, I've got all my jobs done, and now I'm back in my craft room and itching to get started on my project from this month, from the March Stitch Kit Craft of the Month box. I will link to my Stitch Kit playlist in case you missed the unboxing of this, where I showed everything that was in there. It was a lovely surprise. The box was absolutely stuffed full. The Arty Farty Annie Craft of the Month mystery box this month is £25. They are focusing on crafting for children, but if you don't have children to craft for, don't worry. So you can, if you do want to do crafting for children, that can be making things for children, and you can choose what age range you want to make for. You can choose whether you want to do toys or clothes or both. You can choose your colour preferences and all of that. Every single box they make up is completely bespoke. It's put together, literally put together for you based on what you tell them in the questionnaire you fill out when you order. They can also adapt it to be suitable for beginners, for if you want to get a box for older children to learn how to do crafts. It doesn't, I've got one that is knitting, but it doesn't have to be knitting. It could be crochet or stitching or any of the other craft disciplines that they do, or maybe not macrame. You probably wouldn't do that for children, would you? We have a discount code which I will put up here. So it's NAT2T10 which I think it stands for New Arrivals Tots 2 Teens 10. You get 10% off the Craft of the Month mystery box, or you can also use that for a monthly subscription to the Crafting for Children's boxes. So that's the New Arrivals box or the Tots to Teens box. I think I've got that right. And or you can use it against a mixed subscription. So if you've been wanting to have to dip a toe in the water and maybe try out a Stitch Kit subscription for yourself, this is a good opportunity to try it, because you can pick whatever crafts you want to do. When you get a mixed subscription, you tell them which of the 6 disciplines they cover you're interested in. So you just need to pick 2 or more to have a mixed subscription, basically. And if you don't want to have anything to do with crafting for children, you don't have to. You can still use that 10% discount. So I think that is brilliant. I will leave a link to their website. I showed it last time in the video, so we won't go there again today, but I'll leave a link to the website, the Craft of the Month section. I'll make it so the link goes straight to the Craft of the Month section. And all of the things that you can use this discount code on will be in there. A bit later in the month, you'll be able to pre-order the April box, and there's a discount code for the pre-order as well, which is just pre-order 10. But I don't think that will be on there yet. I know a few people did do the pre-order box, and Ruthie, who won one of the prizes over the weekend, actually, she got in touch with me to give me her address to send the prize, and she also showed me a picture of her project that she's already made with her box. So she pre-ordered, so she got her box pretty much the same time as I did, maybe a couple of days later, and she's already made it. Let me show you. Here we go. So this is in the Arty Farty Annie Facebook group. That's all linked below as well. And it's absolutely full of the swap going on at the moment, but lots of other things as well. There's always different things going on in here. And here's Ruthie's post where she's saying that she was thrilled to win the book, which is one of the prizes during the live stream. And look. So she says, I've had such fun with the Annie's Arty Farty craft box from Stitch Kit. She's got a little pink bunny, mine is blue. She knitted up so quickly and I have so much wool left over, really pleased. Now somewhere she shared a picture of how much she'd got left over. Here it is. She's got all that left. I just think it's enough to do another whole bunny. I think that's all I need to tell you. We can just go on and get stuck in now. I'm going to make the bunny as is in the pattern, but it looks like I'm going to have so much left over. I can either make him a little friend, or I can maybe make some accessories or something. I haven't decided yet. There's 2 kinds of wool in here. One of them is just, let me show you what I mean here. So yeah, this is the pattern that came in the box. This is the I've got the wool to make this lovely blue bunny with the heart and the little bow tie. So I've got, as well as I've got 2 balls of this wool and 1 of this colour. These 2 balls of double knitting as well. And I think those are just to do the heart and the bow tie. So I'll have loads left. So I'm thinking I could maybe make him a little hat or a jumper or something. I don't know. Or maybe a mini bunny. I think Ruthie said that she'd got she'd seen that there was a baby bunny in the pattern as well. Yeah, so that seems to use. The thing is, they say one ball, like there they say 2 balls, but I reckon it's just 1 ball and it just goes just into the second ball. You don't use anything like the whole 2 balls, but of course Rachel's put in enough to cover you, and we've got a whole ball. It's not just, you don't just get just enough of what you need. They just put the whole ball in. These boxes are so generous. You always get a couple of little extras as well. So this time last time this was one of my little extras. I had a beautiful pen one time. I had a notebook for making notes about my patterns and things. This one's really cute, and I reckon you could use that as a bobbin as well. It'd be really nice. And stitch kit sweeties. I might let myself eat them in a minute. Okay, so you get the pattern. I've got these 2 sets of needles. This must be for doing the double knitting with, so I won't need them for a little while. This is what I'll be mostly using. How huge do they look? The size of them. But Ruth said it did what with that, and how thick the yarn is. It knitted up really quickly. Feels so gorgeous, that does. Warm and toasty, King Cole warm and toasty wool, 200g balls, and then you've got the 2 of these double knitting, King Cole's Big Value double knitting, and the safety eyes for my bunny as well are in there. So that's everything I need is in here. Oh, and this, the stuffing. I love the stuffing. So it's like soft stuffing, soft washable stuffing, but because it's in these separate kind of little, almost beans. Do you know, it reminds me of tapioca pudding. Sago pudding. It's going to be almost like that beanie kind of thing. So it'll be all kind of like a little bit, not scrunchy, what's the word? You know, a little bit beanie, but it's soft. So it's lovely for kids, isn't it? Or big kids. And the stuffing came in this sweet little backpack with the Stitch Kit logo on. How cute is that? So you've got the drawstring there, and the drawstring then it makes the handle so you can wear it like a backpack, but it's also got these normal tote type handles. It's a lovely bag, really handy little bag. I love it. I'm gonna do, when I make the rabbit, assuming he works out right, I hope he does, I'm gonna do him as a giveaway next month, as I did with last month's make, and I'll put him inside the backpack. So I think that'll make a lovely gift, whether for a kiddie or a grown-up kiddie. So yeah, what a lovely box for £25. I can't believe it. So I need to get started now. Knitting isn't my area of expertise. I'm more likely to crochet than knit, but they have me knitting socks. If I can knit socks, I can do this. You just follow these basic instructions, bit in the blue. So for the sky blue bunny, yarn B is sky and yarn A is white. Okay, so we're starting with yarn A, so I need the white first. I'm not going to sit here and knit the whole thing with you. I just touch on the absolute basics for anybody who's watching who might be a newbie beginner knitter like me. These are very light, although they're so long, they're very light. I thought I might find them a bit awkwardly heavy, but actually they're fine. So these are 7mm. What would they call this? They're not even calling it chunky or anything, are they? I mean, it's like super chunky, isn't it? Anyway, it's 100% polyester. It's 200 grams, 109 yards, 100 metres. And this is saying to use 8mm needles, but the pattern is telling us to use 7mm. I'm not going to worry about tension, square and stuff, because it's not like it's a garment, it's a toy. It's not going to matter if it's a bit bigger or smaller. We're doing paws and legs, make 2, using 7mm needles and yarn A, cast on 5 stitches. So there's different ways of casting on. I'm going to put my ironing mat here so that'll stop making all that noise. Chair's too low. I've got the stupid fold out chair because my proper desk chair broke ages ago. This one is fine. This one is fine, just a bit low for some things. So I'm going to start with you can do the long tail cast on method. I mean, this is so short, I could show both. So the easiest one I know that I remember doing as a kid is just to go like this. You make your slip stitch, your slip knot first. Let's show the slip knot. So I just go round like that, push a loop through like that. That's my slip knot. Pull that up fairly snug but not tight. And then this was like the way that I remember being shown as a kid, and it was so easy. So you just hold it like this, wrap your thumb around and make a little loop like that going from the back. So wrap your thumb around, make the loop going underneath. But that's not the time, that can be a bit loose and stuff. I don't think that's the best way of doing it. So I'm going to do, we do not need needles tapping on glass noise. So I put my slip knot on there. I'm keeping this tail end out of the way. I'm putting the needles through like that so it's underneath the left one. I'm working right as a right hander. Getting hold of this working yarn and putting it around and between the needles, and then pulling a loop through like that, and just pull it up a little bit, and then kind of twisting it and coming from underneath like that. Oh, it's funny to work with this stuff. You can see how quickly it's going to grow. So yeah, again, putting that underneath there, bring the yarn around the back and then up between the two needles, and then putting that loop through, and then rather than just like slip it on like that, I'm going sort of twisting it and going from the back. So that's 3 cast on. I've only got to cast on 5 stitches. That's what it's quick to show all 3 different ways. Or you can do this, they call it the long tail cast on method. And to do that, you're supposed to do, I think it's about 3 times the finished length of the piece you're casting on. Well, this is so little, it's only 5 stitches, so let's just do that. I think in this case I'm going to keep it in my hang on. In this case it's going to be on in my right hand. Pull that up again reasonably snug but not tight. You want it to move about easily. And then this time I'm going to work with the loose end. I probably haven't got enough there actually. Let's make it longer, because we've got plenty. Right. So this time I'm making that loop with my thumb again. So holding it like this, making a loop by putting my thumb around like that to make this loop, and then putting my needle in like that, and again bringing it around the back. So it's as if my thumb is that other needle now. Bringing that yarn around the back and up between my thumb and the needle, and putting that loop through like that. So thumb around to make that loop, needle in the loop with thumb on top, yarn around the back, coming up between my thumb and the needle, and then pulling that loop through. That's probably finding that the most comfortable actually. So I'm supposed to cast on 5. Let's just carry on and cast on 5 here. So that's 4, because that slip knot counted as 1. And that's 5. Oh, this yarn is lush. So I think Rachel did say, so I asked her what they were going to do about if people pre-ordered the box, and I'm looking up here as if I'm talking to you, and I can't see you. Yeah, I asked Rachel what she's going to do if people pre-ordered, because obviously not everybody's going, you know, they couldn't send somebody a box to make a child's cardigan if they don't know if they got a child to knit for, or if they have, what size they would be or anything. So she was going to stick for the pre-order boxes, she was going to stick with toys, and then if people actually order the mystery box now, or a monthly subscription version, then she'll adapt according to what they've said they like. So it might be that we see all sorts of things coming up this month, and not just children's crafts either. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what else people might get in boxes this month. There's my 5 cast on, and then I'll weave that in later. And now I can turn around, can't I, and start knitting this way. I did end up with too long of an end, look. Love this stuff. Tell you what, I can imagine using this to wrap around armatures for dolls and things as well. And you could then felt into it. It would be perfect for that. Yeah, if you wrap that round pipe cleaners or other wire armature, that would be lovely to then felt into. Definitely going to be trying that. So what do we do next? We purl the whole row. So I'm just going to show these stitches once, just in case anybody like me is just starting out. So the purl stitch is where you go in the front of the stitch, in this direction. With knitting we go like this. With purling we go like this and come out the front. So knitting, you end up with the pointy bit coming out the back. Purling, you end up with it coming out the front. that's how it makes sense to me. And then you just take the working yarn and wrap it around like that and pull a loop through, and then you can slip that other one off the needle. And when you're not holding out at arm's length under the camera and you get used to it, that's all one smooth, easy movement. I'm making it look quite awkward. Also, I've got this great big long needle here which is bashing at something on the side of my desk, so I think it'll be easier when I've got it on my lap in front of me later. So I'm doing each one like that. Oh. And you have to stick your tongue out like this when you do it. That's important, top tip. Okay, that's my purl row. I'm going to use my heat erasable pen to mark off the rows as I do them here, because the great thing about this is, mostly with those of us who do a lot of stitching and things, we use these on fabric, and then we use an iron or whatever, hairdryer or whatever, to get rid of the ink. But actually, if you use the kind of silicone-y feeling, I don't think it is silicone, I don't know what it is, tip here, that will rub it out, because it creates friction that creates heat that rubs it out. That's what they call friction pens. So if I do this, I can rub it out. So I can go through, mark all the rows off as I do them, and then when I come to repeat it, because I'm going to make two, I can mark them all again without getting confused. So that's why I'm going to use this. So I've cast on my 5 stitches and I've done my purl row. Now I've got to increase 1, knit 1, and then repeat from, there should be a star there, they've missed a star. And I should then, where it says 8 stitches at the end, that means I should by that stage have 8 stitches. So there's a bit of a typo there actually. So where it's got repeat from asterisk to last stitch, there was no asterisk. The asterisk should be there, as it is on this row down here. You can see where it's got asterisk, increase 1, knit 1, repeat from asterisk. That's what it should look like on row 2. There's just a bit of a typo. So I think they explain how to tell you what the abbreviations are up here. So increase 1, because there are different ways of increasing, so let's do it like they say. Knit into the front and back of the next stitch. This is actually going to be stocking stitch we're doing now, where it's purl 1 row, knit the next row, and so on. And the knit row is the right side of the work. To increase 1, we knit into the front and the back. That's going into the front, and then before I take the stitch off, I'm going to go into the back as well. Oops, let's pull that up a bit. I'm going to go into the back of the stitch as well, like that, to make enough. So I've basically made 2 stitches out of 1. So normally I would do it like this next one. I'm just going to knit 1. Let's do that again actually, because I haven't shown that. So go straight through from the front to the back, bring the thread around the back and up between the 2 needles and pulling the loop through. And then on this next one I've got to increase again, because it's increase 1 and knit 1 and repeat to the last stitch. So I'm increasing this time, so going 1 in the front, and then before I slip the stitch off, I'm doing another stitch in the back. Okay, and then knit 1. until you get to the last stitch, and then increase 1 again. So again, going knitting 1 in the normal way, but not putting the stitch off the needle yet. Hook. I'm so used to crochet, but going. This is so hard at arm's length. Going back in to the back of the stitch, so that I'm making those 2 stitches out of 1, thereby increasing 1 stitch. I should have 8 now, because it says at the end of that row, it says, where is it? 8 stitches. And then the next row is purl again. So I'm just going to do the next couple of rows and I'll be back, because there's nothing new there. Right, so I'll just done row 4, checking that I've ended up with 12 stitches, and then it says beginning with a knit row stocking stitch, that SS is stocking stitch 2 rows. So yeah, stocking stitch is knit 1 row, purl the next row. So I've just got to knit a row, purl a row without increasing at all. I've got my 12 stitches. I've counted that I've definitely got 12 stitches there, and I'm just going to purl a row, knit a row, purl a row. I'm holding this at a very, very awkward angle if you can see it. When I just had it on my lap just now, doing that little couple of rows off camera, it was so much easier. But hey, I'm glad these needles are quite light, because they are long. Maybe once you get to do the body and stuff, you need the longer needles, because it is quite fat yarn, isn't it? So that's my purl row. So here it says 3 rows, so that's 1. And now I'm going to do a knit row and then another purl row, and then I'm on to the next bit. Oh, piece of cake this is. I just stopped and did that bit again, because it looked like I'd managed to get a row of purl where I should have had knit, so it sort of made this kind of, you know, you can see like this is the purl side where it's all lumpy, and that's the smoother knit side. It looked like I got a purl where I should have a knit, so I don't know how I managed that. So I just quickly did it again. It's taken me less than 5 minutes. It's going to be ever so quick to do. Well, not ever so quick, but you know. So now I'm doing a knit 2 together, so I'm decreasing now. Just for anybody that's doing this that isn't used to reading knitting patterns. I'm not an expert, but I can share the basics. So we've got the asterisk there. You've got knit 2 together, knit 2, and then it says repeat from the asterisk to the end. So I'll go knit 2 together, knit 2, knit 2 together, knit 2, knit 2 together, knit 2, and I'll keep going until I get to the end. And by that stage, I should have 9 stitches. It tells me at the end there. So we'll see. I just realised I've still got one of my 3 rows of stocking stitch to do. Hang on. Something I've always found very comforting about the sound of knitting needles. I think it's because it takes me back to happy times with my granny when I was little. She was always knitting. Now I am ready. So I've done my 3 rows of stocking stitch, and now I'm going to knit 2 together, knit 2. So to knit 2 together, instead of just going in that 1 stitch like that to make the stitch, I'm going to go through both at the same time, same direction and everything, but just going through 2 stitches at the same time, and bringing the yarn around the back and up between the 2 needles as usual, and bringing that loop through. So I've basically turned 2 stitches into 1 now, and then I have to knit 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to repeat that sequence all the way to the end. So I'm going to knit 2 together again, go into the 2 stitches instead of 1, yarn around the back and up between them, pull the loop through, and then knit 2, 1, 2. Just making my arms ache holding this out at arm's length. And then knit 2 together, and knit 2, and that's brought me to the end. So hopefully we've now got 9 stitches, and if we have, I know I'm on the right track. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, yay! And now I've got to purl, and then I'm going to change to a new colour. That's the foot of my bunny. So snuggly. I can see what they call it. Is it snuggly? Snuggly is what they call it. No, they call it warm toasty. Is it the pattern that's called snugglies? Snuggle bunnies. Yeah, they are going to be snuggly. So now I've got to bring in yarn B for the leg. So we're going to I've just done this bit, and now I'm going to go into this bit, beginning with a knit row, stocking stitch, 2 rows. So it's knit 1 row, purl 1 row. So yeah, beginning with a knit row, stocking stitch, 2 rows. So again, just explaining to absolute beginners like myself what I'm learning as I go along. To bring in a new colour, it's really easy. It's nothing fancy about it. You have to tie it in or anything like that. You weave them all in. You can tie them together and weave them in later, but at the moment all I need to do is put my needle through the first stitch there in the same way. I'm going to leave myself a generous end, and then I'm just going to bring this up from the back, bring that through. So I've changed the colour, and now I can, if I want to in a minute, I'll just knot those together. I'll pull that tight and just knot those together so they don't go anywhere, and I can weave the ends in later. So was this just knit? Yes. Knit this row, purl the next row. That's my first 2 rows of stocking stitch knitted, and what I'm going to do is just with these 2 ends, I'll just this yarn's quite nice and grippy actually. I don't think it's going to go anywhere very easily. I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to pull it too tight. I'll just stop it going anywhere, and then later on I'll weave the ends in. I'll weave the blue end into the blue section and the white end into the white section. And I probably won't, I've got some big fat kind of bodkin type needles I could use, but I might even just thread it through with a crochet hook, because I tend to find that easier. Just weave the end back and forth a few times, just to make sure it doesn't come out. So this time we've got a slightly different thing we've not looked at before. Knit 1, that's got TBL, that means through back of loop, I believe. Let's check. Knit 1 through back, knit 1 stitch through the back of the stitch. Okay, hope I do this right. Then increase 1, so it'll be increase 1 in the same way that we did just now by going to the front and then the back of the stitch, and then you just repeat that sequence to the end. So instead of going into, this is knitting, would normally be like this, but I'm going to do it through the back of the stitch, so I'm guessing it's like this. I don't understand why. Maybe some more knowledgeable people out there can tell me. So I'm going to wrap the yarn round in the same way and bring a loop, and then I'm increasing 1. So I'm going to do like we did before. So again, I've made 2 stitches out of that one. Okay, so what have we got? Knit 1 through the back loop, and then increase 1 by going to the front and then the back, and then repeat that sequence all the way to the last stitch. So I've done that, I've repeated that all the way through. I've got 1 left on my needle, and in that last stitch we do another knit 1 through the back loop, and then it says we should have 13 stitches, so we'll have a count up. So just going into that back loop one last time, and then let's count up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Yay! So why did we do all that back loop stuff? What do we do that for? Can anyone tell me? Maybe someone who knows much more than I do will be able to let me know in the comments. So for row 14 we're increasing every 3rd stitch, and for row, and then we're doing a purl for 15 again, and then for row 16 we're increasing every 4th stitch. So it will do a gradual curve, won't it? And then purl in between. And then for row 18 we're just knitting through the back of the loop all the way to the end, then doing a purl. That's all pretty much the same as I've just been doing. So I'm just going to go through, get to that point and knit up a second one. And when it's, I think the next thing that's any different is joining the legs together here. So maybe I'll come and do that bit with you. You're going to be seeing me face these challenges and work it out as I go along. If I can do this, anybody can do it, I reckon. Okay, I'll be back at the next when it gets to the next interesting bit. Right, I'm just coming to the last. No, I've finished the last row of my of the second leg. The first leg is there on a stitch holder. It seems to be the same length, so that's a good sign. And now I'm getting to the point where what they're saying is that we're now going to join the 2 legs together. So you just knit across the row through the back of the loop each time. I'm not enjoying doing the knitting through the back of the loop thing. I'm finding it quite hard work on my hands, so I wish I was just doing normal knitting. I wish I knew why it is we're doing that. does it just make a closer texture or something? I do quite like the texture of it. I don't know. Anyway, so now what you do is you're supposed to do that across both legs. So I guess I'm just going to knit off of this stitch holder now, and then I'll knit all the way across. So I've got both legs on the needle. I can see how I am going to need this really super long needle now. And then I'm going to bring in yarn A for the belly and another ball of B. And then it says to cross the yarns over where the colours meet to stop getting holes. Yeah, we don't want holes, especially if it's going to be for kiddies. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of this bit with you because it's something different, and then I'm going to go on and finish the whole rest of the pieces until I get to the point where I'm sewing it up, and I'll come back then, because it'd be quite nice to get this finished in one video, and then I'll come back and maybe do some accessories and things for it or something, because I'm going to have loads of left over here. So let's just finish up this row a minute. Well, I bet I'll take these all off in the wrong direction. I'll take them off the stitch holder back onto the needle and then carry on. I bet you every single one is going to be in the wrong direction. I'll have to turn it as I go, but don't matter. It'll be fine. Right, so now I'm just going to carry on knitting across this leg to join them together. With each stitch I'm going to have to take it off the needle and put it on the right way round for a start. And then I've got to go into the back of it because I'm still knitting into the back loop, which is the bit that I'm finding a bit awkward, but I'm going to do as I'm told. So taking the stitch off, putting it on the right way around, and then going into the back loop. Okay, so I'll do that and I'll go all the way across, and then I'll have both my legs on one needle. Back in my fur, I carried on knitting all the way across there into the back loop, and then I've done a row of purl. So there's the two little leggies. You can see why you need that extra long needle, eh? Now I've got my white colour wool, or cream colour wool really, and I've got an extra ball of blue as well. I think we knit some blue here, then we knit some white, and then we knit some blue, and we've got to cross the yarns over where the colours meet to stop the holes. Right, let's see how I get on with this. So now I'm on to row 24, knit 18 through the back loop in B, 6 in A, and then 18 in B. This is where I'm starting to make the little white tummy. That's the thing, if you've not knitted before and you look at a pattern like this and think, oh my god, I'll never do that, you just got to take it one step at a time, cross off as you go, keep counting up, make sure that you've got the right number of stitches, take it slow, and you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I promise. So I'm doing 18 through the back of the loop. Well, I'm going to do 18 of those and I'll be back because that's awkward at arm's length. Okay, I've done my 18 in the blue, and now I'm going into the cream, and I'm supposed to cross them over. I'm not really quite sure what that means. Just them together like that maybe. Okay, so I'm supposed to do 6 of these. 1. I twisted them together again at the back here. So I hope that's right. I can see what they mean about not letting there be a gap where you change the colours, but we'll see. We'll see now if that does the trick or not. Let's carry on regardless. So I'm now going to do 6 in the white, and then I'll go back to the blue again. Okay, I'm going to carry on and work through this because I think it's going to be more of the same, and then yeah, there's no kind of new instructions in there that we haven't done a little bit of already. If I have any useful nuggets of information about that crossing the yarn over to stop any gappage, I will definitely pass it on. If anybody's got any tips, please do feel free to share them. I'm always very happy to take advice. Right, I think I've got the hang of this, twisting the yarn together at the back now, crossing it over. So I've just coming up to the point where I'm going to change colour. So I'm going to go into the white now, and what I'm going to do is take here's the blue I've been using. I'm going to take the ball of white, kind of twisting that around. Yeah, see, they're kind of crossed together like that at the back. That seems to be doing the trick. So Just do a couple more stitches and I'll show you what that's looking like now. Here we go. So here's where the colour's been changing. You can see if I pull that apart slightly, there's no kind of big holes there. It's quite come together quite neatly there, look. Yeah, so I think that must be okay. Whether I'm doing it rightly or wrongly, it seems to be working. It looks okay at the back as well. So right, I've done quite well with this. Seems to be working out quite well. I finished, I think when I left you I'd joined the two legs together and started working up the body. So obviously I've finished the body now and cast off at the top, and then you gather the cast on stitches where you started each toe, gather them together and stitch up the leg, both sides. And now I'm in the process of stitching up the back towards the neck. And apparently what I meant to do is stitch partway up, leave a gap, sort of leave a gap there I guess, and then turn it through. You don't stuff it. So that surprised me, but of course that just makes it's quite squishy like this, but quite, you know, fat enough to be snuggly without being stuffed. So I guess that's the idea, you don't stuff it. So the stuffing is just going to be for the head. The yarn goes quite easily through one of these plastic bodkins, so that's working out fine. And I'm finding it's quite easy to just weave the ends in. They stay put really easily because of the texture of the yarn, so that's nice. And then I'm just leaving the ends dangling there because they're not going to show, they'll all be on the inside. So I think I'm going to leave that open. I'll stitch this up to the point where I've just got enough thread left to finish closing, which is probably about there really, and to have a little bit left to weave the ends in. When I was stitching these ends in, I just checked that if there were any kind of holes at all. I made sure I went back and forth across them a bit. And because this, as I say, the texture of this yarn is quite forgiving, it's quite easy to do an invisible seam really, and to just lose the ends in there. Obviously, and I went back and forth with the ends a couple of times. Obviously I don't want them coming adrift, especially if this is going to end up being snuggled by a kiddie, and obviously it'll need to go for the wash and things as well. So yeah, so now what I've done is I've mostly used the ends that were the loose ends that needed weaving in anyway to do the stitching up. I used the white to stitch up where the white and the blue to stitch up the blue. So I'm going to use this end to stitch the neck up and part way down the back. So I'm going to finish there, go back through that stitch I've just made there, whoops, go through, and then just weave the end under a few stitches in this direction. Whoops, I've unthreaded. I'm pushing my luck with this little bit of yarn now. So because my yarn isn't quite long enough, I put the needle through first. Now I've threaded the yarn and I just about got enough wiggle room to put it through. There we go. So it's gone back forth again, and I'm just going to leave that end there. And now I can turn it all inside out and use the rest of this to finish closing the gap. Let's see, I'm excited. It looks so cute, it's like a little baby grow. It's the size of it's bigger than a newborn baby. this rabbit. So yeah, that's where I've closed it. You can see there's no kind of holes or anything there, which is nice. I'm not getting any holes where my colours have changed. That's all there is to it. So I've still got the arms to do, which will be, I guess, pretty much the same as the legs, and then I've got the head. When I come to stuffing the head and putting the eyes and things, I'll come back. If there's anything different, I'll come back. I've done the arms and stitched them on. They're not stuffed either, so the whole thing is quite floppity, which is nice. It makes it really, does make it nice and squishy. I've just come to the end of the head, so I thought, oh, this is something a bit different now, so I'll come back and film a bit more. So I cast on here, worked my way up following the pattern, and then on one of the rows they tell you to mark the 12th and the 19th stitches, and that's the placement for the eyes in a minute. And I come to the end and it just says to cut the yarn and draw up the remaining stitches. So I'm assuming I'll cut and leave a longish end for stitching up. There we go. Seems to be working. Okay. Now if I pull that through, that draws them all together. That seems right, doesn't it? And now I'm supposed to, with the right sides together, sew the seam from the gathered top to the middle of the head. So let's turn this right sides out. I need to move some of these ends in a minute as well. But let's just use this, let's just start with this. Maybe one more just to take me to the middle. Right. And I'm just going to go through that again and back through the loop to give that a little bit of a knot. Right. Now I just want to just tie these ends in. I think I'll use this end for stitching together that white part there, this end for stitching up as far as I can go up here, and then I'll use this to close it up. But I need to put eyes in before I do any of that, so I need to just leave these two. I've just got these two to weave in then. Now it's telling me to stuff it, but don't close the gap until the safety eyes are fitted. Then I use the blue yarn to sew a nose, 2.5 centimeters wide with 3 long stitches and another stitch downwards as in the photos. Then I'm supposed to sew a length of yarn B between the 2 eye markers and tighten a little bit to make eye sockets. Right, so that's why you need the stuffing there, I guess. So here's the stuffing we got in the kit. I do love this wobbly yet squishy stuffing. So I need to keep that out and these out. The rest of these ends can go inside and become part of the stuffing. Definitely easily enough stuffing to do at least one more bunny. So several. There's loads. Look how much there is. I could have stuffed the whole bunny really if I wanted to do a stuffed one. So my nose is going to go back here. Okay. Let's just make a little knot here first. I'm going to do that just to start myself off so it doesn't come adrift. Yeah, I think mine's going to be slightly different from theirs. But that's okay. As long as it looks like a little nose, that's fine. Look, that'll be fine, won't it? Right, so let's bring that through to the back. Yeah, that's okay. And then I'm going to knot these two together to secure that at the back. I think that seems to be like a good idea to me. Right, next thing is the eyes. So this is where I've got to make a little indent between these two to create a kind of dip for the eyes to go in. Using my initiative here, I'm going to tie that in a knot. To secure it. Yeah, that'll be alright. And then I can pull that knot through to the other side. Okay. Now I'm going to go over to here. Take the stitch markers off now. So it's just giving it a little bit of indentation, just a little bit shape to the face, which I quite like actually. Yeah. Can't decide if I should put more stuffing or whether to leave it more sort of squishy. Because I know stuffing does kind of settle after a while as well, doesn't it? So there's quite a lot of it in there, but I'm going to put a tiny bit more. I'll put a tiny bit more after I've put the eyes in. So these are the ones that came in the kit. They're really pretty. Shade of blue, look. Which way around do they go? Oh dear. Did they go that way or that way? I'm assuming it must be that way, but I don't really know. Otherwise it's going to be too loose, isn't it? Oh. Okay, let's get them in. I'm not going to fix them until I'm happy that both of them are in the right place. They look level, don't they? Yeah. I feel like his nose has suddenly gone whoop off to one side, but that's alright as well because it gives it a little bit of personality. That's fine. Right, so I've done it that way around the cupped side towards the eye. So I'm going to add a tiny bit more stuff in now. I've got so much of this stuffing, which is really nice because I like it. I didn't even know this type of stuffing existed, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to quickly knit the ears, and then I'll be back to show you my almost finished wabbit. But I think in the next video is when I'm going to do the little heart, the cute little heart and bow tie. So they're knitted out of the double knitting wool, which also came in the kit, obviously way more than I need. So I've definitely got enough to do perhaps some little accessories or a mini bunny or something. I don't know. I could do all sorts. I've got plenty left of this as well. Okay, he's pretty much done. He's so cute. Look, I'm way bigger than I was expecting actually. So here he is. I can't really, he's too big to show you on camera. He's come out, it was way bigger than I thought it was going to be actually. But he's lovely. It feels really nice, really squishy, and I love the idea of it just not being stuffed in the body, so it can just be really squidged. And yeah, I think that's lovely for a little one or big one. And I've got so much left. Let me show you what I've got left. Backpack bag with like I haven't even used. I've used about a quarter of the stuffing that was in there. We'll put the bunny inside the bag if he'll fit. His little face peeking out. He probably will, because his body's not stuffed. He probably will just about fit in the bag. So I think that'd be a really nice way to present him. And then I've got these two balls I haven't even gone into yet, which I just need to make the heart to go on his tummy and the bow tie. And then I've got all of this wool left. I would say there's enough there to do another whole bunny, certainly the little baby one, but I might just decide to do something completely different with it. I might try crocheting something. He's very lovely to touch. I think that'll work for my thumbnail, just about. So yeah, I will be back soon to finish his little accessories and decide what I'm going to do with the leftover yarn. As I say, there's plenty there to play with. Don't forget, if you wanted to order a craft of the month box from Stitch Kit, I'll put all the links in the description box. Don't forget, we've got that discount code. I've lost the card. NAT2T10 maybe. Anyway, I'll put it up here and I'll put it in the description box, and that will give you 10% off a children's craft box. So that's either the new arrivals box or the Tots to Teens box. And you can use it against a mixed subscription. So if you don't want to do children's crafts, that's fine. It's a good opportunity to try out one of their monthly subscription boxes and just pick at least 2 of the 6 disciplines that they cover. Or you could just use it against the Arty Farty Annie's Craft of the Month box, and then when you order, you'll fill in a questionnaire telling them what kinds of crafts you like to do. You know, if you just want to do something knitted, if you just want to do a knitted toy, just fill in that you just want to do toys and you just want to do knitting. But if not, you could maybe end up stitching a toy or crocheting a garment for a child or whatever. They will adapt the box to suit you. Every single box is made to order for that customer, completely made for you, which I think is amazing. I don't think any other craft subscription box company are doing that, not that I know of anyway. Really fun box, great value, lots more still to play with. I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with my bunny so far. Of course, he's not quite finished yet, so I'm not going to name him. He's going to be given away at the next don't listen. He's going to be given away at the next Arty Farty party at the beginning of April. And he'll be going to a new home, and I will let his new owner choose a name for him. That's right, you can come out now. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully this will be going out on Wednesday morning if I get it edited together in time. We won't be doing the usual weekly Whip and Waffle live stream this afternoon because I'm actually out celebrating my birthday. My birthday actually falls on Friday, and Tom and I are going to be doing a special birthday live stream on Friday instead, at the usual time that we do the Whip and Waffle Wednesdays, which is 2 till 4 p.m. UK time. So hopefully I'll see you then. Meanwhile, enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.